I think this was interesting because it's an area of Sheffield which they do know, but they've not really studied it in an analytical way and looking at the reasons why it's there. So even though it's an area that's familiar to them, they were looking at it in a different way through a geographer's eyes today. But for places which are far away, which they can't easily get to, then virtual field trips have got massive benefits.
GIS is Geographical Information Systems, which involve showing data using maps, graphs, imagery. It's not as complex as a lot of people think. For a teacher who's never used it before, you don't have to go out and use a big piece of software, buy a piece of equipment. As a starting point, online GIS applications via websites can be a very good place to start. The automatic default is income per person versus life expectancy.
Robert is introducing his Year 8 class to a website which displays facts and figures about countries of the world in a visually graphic way. It also allows them to look at changing patterns over time.
When you click play, all the countries move, and if you select several countries, it can show you the trail. So it shows you when it plummets, when it goes up, when it goes down.
Here, they're comparing information about Haiti with other countries and coming up with some interesting conclusions.
I've looked at the trail of Haiti from 1952, and it told me that the income didn't really change much until it went forward a bit, and then in 2007 it went backwards. But their life expectancy has still gone up.
Shows that roughly as much as it can tell of its journey in life expectancy and its income per person. Now, obviously, in Haiti's case, its life expectancy is going up to around the age of 60, but its income is slightly decreased.
Haiti the income per person hasn't really increased that much over the years. I thought it would have increased like years back, but it's quite a poor country.
It's odd because though their life expectancy has gone up quite significantly, they've actually got poorer per person, which either means that they've had a very odd load of growth, or they've had quite a lot of foreign aid, which had been giving them medicine, maybe some form of infrastructure such as sewage, but they haven't actually been getting each individual person jobs. So what we've got is a state entirely dependent on foreign aid. Dominican Republic and, well, they're next door neighbours and they're miles off each other. The Dominican Republic is that little one there, and then Haiti's back here. And while actually they're not that far off on life expectancy, the Dominican Republic is per head very, very well off, which is slightly disturbing because on a map they're next door neighbours, they're on the same island. There's Haiti and there's the Dominican Republic, and the Dominican Republic had just completely outgrown Haiti.
Traditionally, you might have done this by just plotting out information and been very laborious. Even if you're doing it on Excel, it could be quite laborious. Gapminder allows you to literally click, 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 and you've got a graph. You can look at patterns over time, you can highlight particular countries. They were definitely using it as a great tool to sort of investigate.
Compared to the United States, Haiti is completely opposite to how America's doing. And
Dominican Republic is improved.
Where is Haiti?
Haiti's from there to there,
all the way, and it goes backwards on the income. And it ends up there in 2007, whereas America, all the way up there. Because they all started off in about the same place, didn't they?
Yeah.
But whereas the difference there compared to there is huge.
Yeah, so Haiti hasn't really improved that much.
No, not at all.
The level of answers and the level of talks going on, but even just between friends, was a lot higher than if it just been like, turn to page 24, here's some information. Here they've actually investigated, plotted, tried things out, and it definitely enriches it definitely engages them, and also I think makes them think. One of the biggest issues in the UK is coastal erosion. This lesson we carried out today is a good way for them to realise where erosion is happening, how fast it can happen, and also what the future could be if erosion was to continue at a similar rate. When you look on the web page, what will happen is you'll get an aerial photograph that was taken in 1999. And in yellow, on top of it, is an OS map from the 1850s. Using that information and this website, you're going to work out where the coast was and where the coast is, and then use that information later in the lesson to plot how fast the coast is eroding and what will it be like in, say, 10 years' time.
We're trying to find out how much the coastline's changed in a number of years. The yellow lines represent in what was the coastline in 1815, and the image it's showing now is in 1999.
You click where the old coastline was with the map, and then you just move your cursor over to where it is on the picture, and then it tells you in the corner.
You go on the map, and then you put your mouse over the yellow bit, and that tells you where it used to be. And then if you click on that, and then you put your mouse on where it is now, it tells you how many metres away it is. And then you can put it in here, and it tells you the rate of erosion. You have to do it 10 times at different places, and then you have to look at the year of the map and the year of the photograph. You put those in as well.
You should have a value now, perhaps 2 metres per year, average rate of erosion. You're going to use that value in Google Earth to look at future erosion.
Basically, we use it using this data on the average rate of erosion per year, and then we're drawing a line to see how far the coast will have eroded in 10 years. So you just get the line, and then you go in from the coast, and then I'm just going to draw the line here to show how far the coast will have eroded in 10 years.
Well, this caravan park here will all go, and the beach will get closer to the other houses as well.
Next, the predicted coastline for 50 years from now.
And we make a different colour from the 10 years one, so you can tell the difference. And then click along how far it's going to be. Well, there's a lot more houses that are going to go, and it's going to get this road as well, it's going to go away.
It gives them a lot more involvement, engagement in learning, rather than just telling them this is the case of the Holderness is eroding here. They find out it's eroding, and then they'll have a look at what will actually happen.
The main beach, as people know it, is going to be gone, but not much inland will need to move. But after 50 years, some of the buildings will have to be moved. So that's probably going to have nothing there by like 100 years.
GIS gives us a tool to create maps easily, quickly, efficiently, and hence more time to actually analyse.
These Year 10s are looking at what improvements could be made to their local area, using a combined satellite image and map on which they can overlay their chosen features.
Basically, there's been quite a few accidents on the road that I live on. Because of that, I think that speed's quite a big problem on it, and there's no speed cameras as yet. And now I'm trying to add speed cameras. From there, then one just off the turning.
This is where I live, and just putting improvements around, and because there's a lot of old people in my area, I wanted to put in a bus service so they could travel around easier. The first thing I've added is the bus stops, and then I'm going to add in the route which the bus will travel to and from, and then I'm going to add allotments over around here.
I'm going to make cycle lanes on most of the roads. Along these main roads,
down here, just to sort of get some cars off the road and make it more sustainable.
I've chosen the small area which I live in because I think although it's a small area, there's a lot that can be improved upon. So at the moment I'm looking at transport issues, and although we do have a good bus service, it is quite congested, so I'm adding a bus lane, but also cycle lanes because it will get kids out and they'll feel safe and their parents will feel safe with that. These blue lines are the bike lanes, and the green patches are the green spaces which are publicly available. These red lines are the paths that run through them, and the stars are the bus stops at the moment.
Rather than just giving 2 maps printed out this way, they're actually much more interactive. They take a lot more involvement in the learning process.
That's the list of all the bus stops for the bus route which runs in my area. So I'm just trying to plot the bus route on my map. The red dots are the bus stops, which I knew of, and then the line is the bus route, which I'm trying to carry on at either end. We've only started working with this year, but I thought it'd be quite difficult to use birds and that all. And yeah, I like it because it's visual and you can have it right in front of you.
I find it a lot easier, and if you make a mistake, you don't. On a map, you're going to have to stick there. But whereas on a computer, you can, if you think that's not right, you can change it after a while, and you can have different symbols, and they're already on there for you. You don't have to look the symbols up and then see which one you think's best. You can just add it on, basically.
They're very competent now. They're being able to add their own information, flick from one sort of map, view it. And they're all doing those naturally without really thinking about it. And they're coming out with some really high-quality pieces of work.
The top one is looking at the area already and the areas of urban density where most people go and the green spaces. And the bottom one looks at the changes that were made, such as the inclusion of cycle paths. The cycle paths are represented here by the blue lines. They run mainly through the main roads where it's harder for cyclists already to travel. And the reason for that is there are a lot of students who live in this area because of the universities nearby. And I thought that cycle paths might be a better way of getting them mobile without necessarily harming the environment.
It's traditional geography, but with a different bit of equipment, really. So it's not a new concept, it's just a new way, a more flexible way of doing it.